Welcome back. I'm Felix, and I am doing a Watch Mojo episode. Oh, excuse me. This is 30 horrific crimes by television stars. I want to see how many of these I know about. Just from the cover, the guys whose face they had, I'll throw it up here, what they had. I'll probably use it as my thumb, just me off to the side, like, so, but I forgot what I was going to say. His picture, I saw his face, like, oh, I remember what he did. All right, but let's see what horrific things they did. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get into it.
In 2013, Shannon was charged in federal court with possessing and producing a biological toxin.
Welcome to Watch Mojo. And today, we're looking at notable small screen figures who broke the law to a deep...
So far, all three people they show I do recognize for their crimes. I'm not going to say what they are. I'll wait till it comes up on it and go over it.
...disturbing degree.
On Wednesday, Josh was sentenced to 151 months in prison.
Jon Hamm, the star of Mad Men, captivated audiences with Don Draper's quest to fraudulently reinvent himself. That's not too different from the story of actor Jon Hamm.
I feel bad for you.
I don't think about you at all.
In 1990, he was among the Sigma Nu members at the University of Texas who were charged with excessively hazing Mark Allen Sanders. The fraternity pledge was severely beaten with a paddle, tortured, and degraded. Hamm, an alleged ringleader, confessed to the assault and later transferred to his home state of Missouri.
What used to happen?
Oh, I'd get furious, like, especially like when I was a kid. Just like, it was just rage stroke out, like lose my mind if I lost anything.
He has since been very open about his past struggles and mental health along his rise to being one of the most respected names in peak TV. However, the torture incident remains a suspiciously sensitive topic for Hamm.
Going to therapy is not really about sort of wrestling with these, as you say, existential problems.
Jen Shah, the Real Housewives of Salt Lake City.
I didn't know about Jon Hamm. There's been a lot of hazing. The time frame they were listing, there was a lot of hazing stuff. Most of it's supposed to be gone, but they still haze. So be careful if you're getting ready to go into a fraternity, because a lot of them still haze, and they're not supposed to. And depending on the college, if they get caught, they will shut your fraternity down. In Real Housewives, there was a couple that went to jail. Are they the couple that... No, there was a couple couples that went to jail. So let's see which one they are.
Fans fell in love with Jen Shah's fiery personality in 2020.
We basically have to FaceTime a lot. It's kind of like a FaceTime marriage, if that was a thing.
They would be far more disturbed by revelations of cruelty a few months later. Shah and her husband Sharif were charged with years of involvement in a telemarketing scam that stole a lot of money from targets. Many senior citizens lost their pensions.
Homeland Security.
We're looking for Jen Shah.
After Shah changed her not guilty plea to guilty, she was sentenced to 6.5 years in prison. Her husband, a lawyer, was let go. Shah remains a public figure from behind bars, but many have a hard time forgiving her devastating exploitation of vulnerable people. She is due for an early release.
I'm sorry, but all those women are ugly. I'm sitting there looking, they're all ugly. I'm sorry, they are. I didn't find any of them attractive. It was like, they all basically look like variations of each other, like different degrees of plastic surgery. Like, and the lips, it look horrible on all of them. What the hell, man?
In 2026.
She told them, "I am profoundly and deeply sorry."
Robert Blake.
Okay, I know about Robert Blake. Finally one I actually know about. His is weird. So, let's get into it.
Long film career, Robert Blake found a prolific second act on television. He's best known as the star of the procedural Beretta, and for a real-life tragedy that sounds like one of his cases.
Millionaires don't commit crimes. things happen.
Blake's bitter marriage to Bonnie Lee Bakley ended with her seemingly random murder in 2001. It was suspected that her husband hired someone to kill her. A jury acquitted Blake on one count of soliciting a former stuntman and were deadlocked on another. However, a 2005 civil suit by Bakley's children found Blake liable for their mother's death.
In this place, it's real simple. It's not how you're doing. Yeah. You're alive or you're dead.
He himself felt he was lucky to end this ordeal with $30 million in restitution to the survivors. Blake was already long retired, but the scandal haunts his would-be distinguished legacy.
I think she was a con artist. Yes, I think she came to Hollywood to con her way into show business.
Tim Allen.
I didn't know about Tim Allen, but the reason with the murder of his wife, it was weird because it was like he went back in the restaurant to get his gun and left her in the car. I'm thinking, you left your gun in the car or in the restaurant? And that's when she got killed. She got killed while she was in the car by herself. So, yeah, there was all kinds of weird stuff with that whole situation why people thought he was guilty. I think he did get out, but, yeah, it was just weird. It was just a weird situation.
The wholesome image of sitcom veteran Tim Allen looks nothing like his life before stardom. In 1978, he was arrested at an airport for possessing enough cocaine for a trafficking charge.
Freeze!
Yeah, I knew he got busted for drug possession, and it was a trafficking charge. So, yeah, I knew about him. So he was lucky.
Facing a life sentence, he confessed to the charges and identified colleagues in a drug ring. Allen was so charismatic in his testimony that the judge supposedly said he could find a career in comedy. Sure enough, Allen left prison in 1981 to become an unlikely icon of family entertainment. Along the way, he's had to deal with other scandals involving substance use disorder. The sober Allen has since been remarkably open about his improvement from a life of crime.
How'd you do that?
Shannon Richardson.
I was just thinking, he also has had plastic surgery. I know that has nothing to do with the crime. I was just thinking about how his face looks. It's like he looks odd to me now. So many people fight aging. But I didn't realize he was still an addict, which makes sense. You know, he got busted with that much cocaine. He probably had to, he's probably moving it to pay his coke habit or something. But, yeah, I knew that he got busted for drugs. I just didn't know it was a trafficking situation. And I know about her. Yeah, she's crazy. And I'll let them explain, and I give my 2 cents later.
Richardson. Texas actress Shannon Richardson had small roles on big shows like The Vampire Diaries and The Walking Dead. Then she came to the forefront of the media in 2013. The pregnant Richardson reported that her estranged husband mailed letters laced with ricin to President Barack Obama, New York City Mayor Michael Bloomberg, and the director of the Mayors Against Illegal Guns program.
Shannon was trying to frame me as some kind of backwater, gun-toting, crazy person. She was pretty evil.
Police quickly discovered that the poisoned letters were real, but that the accuser sent them. Richardson later confessed and was sentenced to 18 years in prison for criminal threats in 2014.
A federal judge gave Shannon Richardson the maximum sentence under her plea deal.
She finally got her starring role the following year on an episode of Investigation Discovery's Who the Bleep Did I Marry?
I think it was just her way of getting the attention that she's always craved.
Yeah, that was crazy. I remember when it happened, I was just like, she did what? It was like, wow. Apparently she was making it and then distributed it and sending it out. But yeah, that one was weird. It's like, why are you doing that? And I know about this one. I actually watched, was it Coffee House Crimes? One of the YouTube crime channels did a story on him. And his is bizarre. If I can find which one it was, I'll leave a link for it so you guys can go watch it. But yeah, his is really bizarre.
It's not like sex worker Akshaya Kubiak, better known as Ash Armand, gained fame on a strictly lawful brand through Showtime's Gigolos.
It's a good thing that I like playing dress up.
But he gained more attention for a truly heinous act in 2020. The already controversial reality star was charged with bludgeoning his friend Herline Dulai to death while under the influence of psychedelic mushrooms.
I basically I just seen the concert.
He ultimately pleaded guilty to manslaughter and mayhem and was sentenced to 8 to 20 years in prison. The tragedy was a far cry from the glamorous and zen brand that Armand built on gigolos. It's certainly a cautionary tale for bohemian experiments getting carried away. Armand has since come under fire after being linked to Diddy's freak-off parties.
The more that I got involved with this case and the more that I learned about it, it just did not sit right with me at all.
John.
Yeah, that one was weird. From what I remember of the other story, the other story I watched about him was like the girl was staying with him. They started doing some I think it was supposed to be like all natural psychedelic drugs, and it was just he pretty much when he came to, he realized he killed her. So you gotta be rough, whether it's holistic or all natural, whatever. A drug is still a drug. It can have weird effects on you. There's a lot of stuff in nature. If you eat it, you will hallucinate like you never hallucinated before. So you got to be careful. And I know about him. His was a sad one because I believe it involves that he had an accident and then that caused him not to be the same anymore.
Johnny Lewis. Real-life motorcycle enthusiast Johnny Lewis had a memorable stint on Sons of Anarchy after many small film and TV roles.
Okay, thanks.
His career was effectively ended in 2011 by a motorcycle accident that caused severe brain damage. The resulting mental illness, made worse by substance use disorder, ostensibly led to Lewis killing his elderly landlady Catherine Davis and her cats 1 year later.
Eyewitnesses told police Lewis appeared to show superhuman strength.
He then fell to his death from the victim's roof. Authorities later determined that the 28-year-old Lewis killed Davis and ruled his own death an accident. The tragedy continues to haunt the young actor's colleagues as a terrible end to a promising talent.
What's weird, but I didn't realize they ruled his death an accident. I thought it was a suicide, but I guess he didn't mean to go off the roof. But then again, if he was high and the brain damage, he probably didn't know what he was doing.
Of his show, even tweeting, "I wish I could say I was shocked, but I was not."
Jeffrey Jones.
Yeah, he's the one whose face is on the cover, on the thumbnail. And when I saw the thumbnail, I was like, yeah, I remember what he did. And it was sad when you discover what he did. So he had been acting for a long time. He was in a lot of movies in the 80s and 90s.
Look at that kitchen. You're finally going to be able to cook a decent meal.
After a prolific career in film and television, character actor Jeffrey Jones saw a major professional decline after 2002. That may be too good with the scandal hanging over him. Jones was charged with paying a young boy to pose in explicit photos over the course of 9 months. The actor pleaded no contest with no charge of direct sexual contact with the victim. He was later convicted of misdemeanor possession of illegal images and registered as a sex offender, later being arrested twice for failing to update his status. Jones has since managed to find steady work, including on the classic HBO Western Deadwood. Little by little, though, the court of public opinion has limited his tainted career.
You ever been beaten, Merrick?
Once, when I thought I had the smallpox, Doc Cochran slapped me in the face.
Ryan Grant.
Yeah. Now, if anyone thinks, oh, he shouldn't be working ever again, you know how many perverts are in Hollywood still? Seriously. So he's no exception. I'm not saying it makes it right, but if you're going to get rid of him, you got to get rid of all of them. You can't just target one. Get rid of all of them. But, yeah, I didn't know he had paid to have photos taken. I knew he got caught with materials, but I didn't know he paid to have photos taken. Ryan Grantham. Which one is this? Is this the one? Now this one, most of you probably might know, or this I think this is more current. Is this the one that killed his mother?
From 2007's The Secret of the Nutcracker to a recurring role on the CW's Riverdale, Ryan Grantham was a television darling from childhood.
You didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, this one was more recent, so you guys probably know this, so I'll go ahead and talk about it. This is the one that killed his mother and then was going to go kill the prime minister, him. I don't remember his name. But yeah, I remember this one. This is a couple years ago. Clearly he had some mental issues.
He also struggled with serious mental health issues. In 2020, the 21-year-old compulsively shot his mother, Barbara Waite, dead in their British Columbia home. He then prepared to travel to Ottawa to assassinate Prime Minister Justin Trudeau. Instead, Grantham surrendered to the police and later pleaded guilty to second-degree murder. He was sentenced to life in prison, with eligibility for parole in 2036.
One thing I hated about the media's coverage, they always used a young photo of him. They never used a more up-to-date photo of him. Because look at the Riverdale. Look at him there. Look at him there. Those are two different time frames. So, yeah, I never really liked the way they did that, his coverage.
Grantham has since been vocal about his remorse for taking his mother's life and destroying his own once bright future.
I'm so sorry.
Rolf Harris. A career in music and acting led to Rolf Harris becoming one of the biggest personalities in Australian and British TV.
It's Rolf's Cartoon.
I don't know this one. Oh, was he part of that whole... There was a British guy, it turned out he was a huge assaulter, like huge, and I saw somewhere it said he died before being prosecuted. I thought he got prosecuted, actually. Well, I may be thinking of someone else, but there was a whole bunch of them that got taken down. There was politicians involved, too. It was bad.
He was particularly beloved for hosting shows for children. Then, in 2012, British police launched Operation U-Tree after presenter Jimmy Savile was posthumously ousted as a serial predator. Harris was among the 19 alleged associates arrested. After years of allegations, he was convicted on 12 counts of indecent assault of 4 young girls and women.
There were no words, no reaction, and no apology.
The career-ending scandal further disillusioned the public with talents that they'd been watching on the small screen all their lives. Harris died 6 years after being released from prison on license after a conviction with one victim was overturned. The other convictions were upheld.
Then, a tarnished national treasure started his journey to prison.
Jussie Smollett.
What? The way the audio changed to that. We all know about this one, I would assume. There are still some weird things with this one for me. Do I think he staged it? I'll be honest, not 100%. Part of me thinks he did, but then there's some things that I wonder about. There's a lot of stuff, but also the way they went after him was weird too. Like they went after him. And then, but the guys who were supposed to be involved in this, nothing ever happened to them. And they're doing a book deal and some other stuff. It's like, part of me wonders, because if they were all in on it, why didn't anything happen to them as well? I think that's the part that's been bugging me. It's like, why did no one go after them? But then again, they were hired to do a job and they didn't do it. So you can look at it that way. But still, it was so weird.
Is it that has you so angry? Is it the attackers?
It's the attackers, but it's also the attacks.
This man has enjoyed a long career in the entertainment industry, first appearing in The Mighty Ducks when he was just 10 years old. But all that work flew out the window when he made up a hate crime. In late January 2019, news broke that Smollett was attacked outside of his Chicago apartment by 2 homophobic racists, quickly becoming a sympathetic victim in the national media. But that sympathy changed to hate when a police investigation found that Smollett had orchestrated the attack himself, having hired 2 brothers to pose as the assailants. The brothers claim that Smollett wanted to be a poster child for activism. Instead, he was ridiculed, fired from Empire, and sentenced to 5 months in county jail.
All lies.
Again, just like the guy who was the PDF, he could make a comeback probably a lot easier than that guy if he really wanted to. To me, it's like, I've said this before, why are you waiting for Hollywood to come to you? You just start doing your own thing. The number of people that have made comebacks from stupid stuff like this, it's ridiculous. He could do it if he really wanted to. I'll be honest, I didn't think he was that good of an actor. So there is that. So that could work against him if everyone thinks the way I did about his acting. But yeah, his situation was just weird. I believe 99% he did it, that he staged it, but there's that 1% of doubt for some reason, and I can't really explain it. There's just like something's off about the whole situation.
And his claim under oath that there was no hoax, that was a lie too.
Adam Hicks.
Now, a former Disney actor and his girlfriend are now charged with robbery for a crime spree on the streets of Burbank.
Known for playing the titular Luther Waffles on Disney's Zeke and Luther.
What's funny about his situation is I didn't know about it until I saw a YouTube show about it, actually. There was a YouTube coverage about him. I think they were talking about former Disney stars and where are they now. So yeah, it was weird. And then I saw him on TikTok talking about what he's up to. And my eye, last time my eye wouldn't stay open. It's like it's half closed. I don't think I said at the beginning of this one. I wound up in the ER due to dehydration. Pushed myself too much, and so if I seem a little off, that's why. But anyways, this is one of the things talking about being a little off. I can't remember what I was saying. My eye seems more droopy than normal. I probably should get that checked out. Well, anyways, I didn't know about his situation until I saw the video, and then he was on TikTok talking about he's taking it one day at a time, and I guess he's doing music now. But yeah, I mean, you never know what's going on in someone's life. You're like, you see them all the time on TV, doesn't mean they have money. If you don't manage your money right, no matter what you're doing, you're going to be broke. And sometimes you can manage your money 100% correct and still be broke, which is even worse.
Has faced some significant legal issues in recent years. On January 25, 2018, Hicks and his girlfriend, Danny Tamburo, robbed a number of people at gunpoint in Burbank, including 2 women in their 70s. Both Hicks and Tamburo were eventually caught and arrested for armed robbery. Hicks pleaded no contest and was found guilty, receiving a sentence of 5 years in prison. Hicks' career in television has been thoroughly dismantled, and you likely won't see him on the small screen anytime soon.
A search of the residence and of that car led us to the recovery of all the victim's property and of the handgun that we believe was used in the crime.
Orlando Brown.
Oh, come on. If you don't know about Orlando Brown by now, this young man has been off his rocker, off his meds. There are people who believe it's all an act. He's just doing it for attention. It might be all an act now, but back then it was not an act. This young man has a lot of issues, and hopefully he gets the help he needs one day. Maybe it is an act now, but yeah, he definitely back then it was not an act.
The day you have these warrants, you're picked up. This is why you're going back to LA County. Okay, thank you.
Another Disney actor who has fallen on hard times, Orlando Brown once entertained millions playing Eddie Thomas.
Oh, he was also on The Proud Family. He played the young boy that was on there. When they brought the show back, they had his character move, and they brought in someone else. They just showed his character just packed up and move. And he was upset that he didn't get a chance to come back. It's like, dude, with all the crap you've been into and doing, you weren't coming back.
That's So Raven. Unfortunately, his life slowly spiraled, culminating in a very controversial 2016. The first incident occurred in February, when he struck his girlfriend in a police station parking lot in Torrance, California, and was arrested for domestic battery and drug possession. A further domestic disturbance occurred the following March, and in September, he broke into a Las Vegas restaurant owned by his friend, Danny Boy. Things cooled down until 2022, when the now homeless Brown was arrested in Ohio for domestic violence after threatening his brother with a hammer.
And he was coming towards you?
He was thrusting it, forward thrust, and all of that.
Okay.
Jeremy Jackson.
As a result of your action.
I have no idea who this is. Who is this?
Big Brother has no choice than to remove you from the house.
He might not be well known today, but Jeremy Jackson was popular in the 1990s, playing Hobie Buchanan on
I did not recognize that name for anything. They weren't joking when he said he's not popular anymore. But yeah, he got screwed over. The reason I say that, when he was a kid, probably in his teens, he talks about how he was hanging out with the adult actors doing stuff, that he shouldn't have been doing. That's what I'm saying. He got screwed over. Those adult actors should not have been doing the stuff they were doing with him. He's out drinking and drugging. And back in the 80s and 90s, they did that a lot with underage kids. Like Drew Barrymore was one of those people who got victimized like that. Corey Haim, Corey Feldman, they were also victimized in that same instance where they were hanging out with adults drinking and drugging. And it was just a thing back there that they did all the time. And I think it still kind of goes on now where you'll have these kids who are on these adult shows like he was on Baywatch, where they're hanging out with the adult actors after hours, and they really shouldn't be. And you got to put some of the blame on the parents too, because why are you letting your kid hang out with these adult actors drinking and drugging? First off, where the hell are you?
Baywatch. Unfortunately, Jackson soon fell into heavy drug use and departed the show after 159 episodes. His career and personal life never truly recovered. In 2015, Jackson was kicked off Celebrity Big Brother 15 after opening another house guest's dressing gown. He was cautioned by the police following the incident, but he wasn't so lucky following another incident. Just a few months later, Jackson tried stealing a car in Los Angeles and stabbed the woman who intervened. Luckily, she was okay, and Jackson was sentenced to 5 years probation and 270 days in county jail.
It's probably the grind to get back to at least some level of normal. That's the hardest.
Drake Bell.
How do you plead to count one? Attempted endangering children, felony of the 4th degree.
Guilty.
The winner of 10 Kids' Choice Awards, Drake.
His is sad on two ways, in that he did that stuff and that he was a victim of it himself. And I'm not saying that excuses what he did, but there is a trend where people who are victims of that sometimes end up victimizing other people. Not all the time, but sometimes. I don't know the percentage. I don't think it's a large percentage, but it's enough to where it is a phenomenon that does happen, to where if you're a victim of child abuse, that you can go on and become a person who victimizes children. And it's sad. And it also, in that documentary, like, what was it, On Stage, or I forget what it was called, but in that documentary he talks about how he was victimized. It also sounds like he never actually got help from the way he talked about it. So I think if he had gotten help, he probably wouldn't have done what he did.
Is a beacon of nostalgia, having starred as one half of the legendary Drake and Josh. But like other child stars on this list, he has faced a number of significant legal issues. The worst occurred in 2021, when Bell was charged in Cleveland with disseminating matter harmful to juveniles and attempted endangering children, the latter of which is a felony. The crimes relate to inappropriate social media messages that Bell shared with the underage girl and allegedly engaging in sexual chats. He pleaded guilty and was given 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service.
This is new at 6. Former Nickelodeon star Drake Bell avoided jail time today on his child endangerment conviction. Bell was sentenced to 2 years of probation and 200 hours of community service.
Dmitry Dyachenko.
Where to next?
I have no idea who this guy is. The name does not sound familiar, but let's see if what he did sounds familiar.
We go to underground poker game in mostly abandoned insane asylum.
Yes!
He wasn't a big star, but Dmitry Dyachenko found some success on television, appearing in shows like Sons of Anarchy and How I Met Your Mother. But his career fizzled just as it was getting hot owing to a horrible crime he allegedly committed in 2014. Diatchenko.
I thought that said he ate his ex-girlfriend. ate his ex-girlfriend's rabbit. But still, it's not any, I mean, it's better than eating his girlfriend. People eat rabbits, but still.
His ex-girlfriend in Los Angeles at the time, who told him that she no longer wanted to be roommates. According to the district attorney, Diatchenko killed and ate her pet rabbit, all while sending her graphic photos of the entire process. And when she returned home, he told her that he would do the same to her. Diatchenko claims it was a hoax. He was given 3 years probation and 60 days of community labor.
Wait here. We get you on VPI list for party.
You give us $200 per person, cover charge.
Charles S. Dutton.
Do you know why I stopped you, sir?
Yeah, I do.
I actually know about his. His happened a long time ago before he got into acting. So I'll let you see what he did.
I'll tell you what. Why don't you and your wife have dinner on me, and you can tell her about it.
You offering me a bribe, sir?
The recipient of 3 Emmy Awards, Charles S. Dutton is a prime example of someone turning their life around. Growing up in a rough area of Baltimore, Dutton's life was upended in 1967 when he killed a man in a knife fight. According to Dutton, the killing was in self-defense, and he was given 5 years in prison for manslaughter. He was out after just 20 months, but was soon resentenced on a handgun charge. He was given a further 8 years after assaulting a prison guard, bringing his total sentence to 11 years. Luckily, he discovered the joy of drama while serving his time and later earned a master's degree from the Yale School of Drama, resulting in his Emmy-winning career on television.
Most states were spending tens of millions in those days on rehabilitation. But those days are over with. It's punishment now.
Jerry.
Yeah, he got lucky because now they do anything they can not to rehabilitate you because they want you to stay in there. They want you to keep coming back because it's a business now. But yeah, I knew that he had killed a man in a bar fight before he became an actor. And that's why I said a lot of these people can still, they can still do something with their lives as they want to. It's entirely up to them. If they want to make a comeback, they can. People have come back from horrendous stuff before, so it's not impossible. And, you know, he was a killer and still managed to be famous and well known. So it is possible. And I'm sure you guys know about this guy, Jerry Harris, the cheerleader guy, who more CP. Like, I think they get out there and it's just like, hey, let's do this. You got to be careful who you trust. Sorry, my brain is not functioning. I was going to say something else too, but let's just get into it.
The public knows him as a star on Netflix, a cheerleader winning the hearts of many. Prosecutors say Jerry Harris is a child predator.
2020 was an up and down year for Jerry Harris. He became a national star after appearing in the Netflix documentary Cheer, which chronicled the Navarro College Bulldogs cheer team from Texas. But the following September, just 8 months after the series debuted, Harris was arrested by the FBI in Chicago for producing illicit material related to minors. According to Harris himself, he engaged in inappropriate behavior on Snapchat with a number of underage individuals, and he committed illegal physical activity on at least one occasion. Harris pleaded guilty to the charges and was sentenced to 12 years in prison.
They are expected to argue for his release from jail. Part of their argument expected to be that Harris has asthma and therefore is at increased risk for COVID-19.
Lane Garrison.
I went to 8 prisons and, not a day has gone by.
Lane Garrison. I don't know this one. Which one is this? I'm trying to think. Yep, can't think of it. Let's see what's going on.
About that young man.
This actor got a major break after landing the role of David Opolsky's, better known as Tweener, on the acclaimed Fox drama Prison Break. But he didn't have long to enjoy his newfound success. In December of 2006, about halfway through the show's second season, Garrison came across 3 teenagers outside a liquor store. He went with them to a local high school party, and all 4 left the party in his vehicle. Garrison, who was both drunk and high at the time, crashed the car into a tree, killing one of the teens and injuring the other 2. He was given over 3 years in jail. In the words of Garrison himself, from prison break to prison.
I got in an accident 1 block from my house and a young man was killed. And I found myself going from Prison Break, the show, to prison for 2 years.
Mark Salling.
You broke the rules. For that, you must be punished.
More CP. Don't get into the... Oh, man, I got into the entertainment stuff. I was going to say, don't get into the entertainment business. Apparently, you'll start doing CP stuff. Yeah. I wonder what... Oh... Again, I can't think what I was going to say. Oh, I did, we were watching another, can't remember if it was Watch Mode, but he showed up on there and a bunch of other people. It was like just one after the other was CP, and I was like, part of me was wondering, how did they get caught? Then I realized, I'm not encouraging this by any way, shape, or form, but this is how my mind, this gives you an idea how my mind was. I like to figure things out. And I realized how they're getting caught. I won't actually say how they're getting caught so that way they can keep getting caught. But I was talking to my daughter about it. It's like, that makes sense how they're getting caught. It's like, oh, I get it. And again, I'm not going to say what I figured out because, so you want them to keep getting caught. But it made total sense when we were talking about it. It's like, yeah. And I think I even joked about not going online and telling anyone how they're getting caught so that way they keep getting caught. It's like, yeah, I just won't say how I figured out. But because whenever you hear about them getting caught, it's like, how do they get caught? And when you hear how they got caught, it's like, oh, that's how they got caught. And if you're a criminal, just don't do that. I know it sounds stupid because I didn't explain how they got caught. But it's the same for every single one of these, how they got caught, basically. It's just, well, first and foremost, don't do it. Secondly, if you're going to be a criminal, be smart about it, I guess. But again, first and foremost, don't do it. But it's just like, yeah. But to me, it's like what I was saying earlier about that guy from Beetlejuice and Ferris Bueller Day Off. He's still acting. So you can make a comeback from this. Even this, you can make a comeback. Charles Dutton killed a man, and he's a well-known Emmy Award-winning actor. So on and so forth. These people have killed people. What was it? The boxing promoter. What is his name? I can't think of his name. He was Mike Tyson's. He had the wild hair. Oh, what is his name? Well, anyway, he killed a man too, and look at him. He became a famous boxing promoter. So yeah. I've been around long enough so I've seen tons of people make a comeback. Kevin Spacey's trying to make a comeback, and he's acting now. He's actually getting roles and acting. So it is possible to come back from this. Jesse Smollett, if he really wants to come back, can come back. If he's going to have to put the work. It's basically going to be like starting over. He's going to have to put the work in to achieve something. And even this guy, not him, but the other guy who took his life, he could actually have made a comeback like years down the road. But he has to start over with small parts, show remorse, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. But yeah, these people, they could make a comeback. But it is possible. Anyways, again, in the long and short of it, just don't do it. Don't do it.
After attempting a career in music, the late Mark Salling found great success on Glee, playing resident bad boy Noah Puckerman. But as it turns out, Salling was actually much worse than his character. On December 29th, 2015, after the show had already concluded, Salling was arrested in Los Angeles on suspicion of owning illicit material related to minors. The police were tipped off by one of his ex-girlfriends, and they found mountains of evidence on his computer. He accepted a plea deal and was expected to receive up to 7 years in prison. However, Salling took his own life before sentencing could occur.
One of the stars of the musical comedy Glee has died, and all indications are he took his own life.
Allison Mack.
This one was crazy. If you guys don't know about this one, where have you been? Maybe you were just born, I don't know. She was famous. She was on Superman or Smallville. She played Clark Kent's best friend. And this one was just crazy. And find out she's in sex trafficking, prostitution, slavery. It was just it pretty much named she was involved in this cult. It was just crazy. And then the guy that played Lex Luthor on Smallville tells a story how she came over with some people. At first, he knows her, so he's like letting her in. And this is in the early stages of her joining the cult, and he realizes something's off. And his instincts are to get them the hell out of his place. And they're trying to like get him to pretty much join and stuff. But he manages to get him to get going. And it's just like, oh, what the hell was that? I need to find that, see if I can find where he talks about that. If I can find that, I'll link it here. There's something else I was supposed to link too. Oh, the story of the Gigolo. I'm going to be honest, I probably won't remember to look for the links for this. The way my brain's going right now, oh my God. But yeah, hers is crazy.
Sentenced to 3 years in prison after pleading guilty to charges she manipulated women into becoming sex.
And just like Orlando Brown, she needs psychological help. Because how do you go from, doing TV to joining a cult? The weird thing, she's not the only one to join a cult. There's been other actors who have joined cults. There's an actor right now who last I heard, he was running his own cult. He was on Seventh Heaven. He played the guy who had a kid. He runs a cult. The last I heard, I'm not going to look him up, but yeah, he was the head of a cult. So yeah, I don't know. How do you get into that stuff? It's like, I don't want to know how you get into it. But I've jokingly said I need to start my own cult because you can find people like this and they'll just keep giving you money. Create something like Scientology. I'm going to be honest, Scientology is a cult. Unfortunately, a lot of religions now are a cult in the way that they operate. But that aside, I joked about starting a cult and getting people to give me all their stuff. It's like, just sign over everything you own to me. It'll be good. It'll be all right. But yeah, I just don't get it. As you saw, my eye closed and didn't want to open. I had to fight it. I wonder if I'm just tired because it is late that I'm recording this. So I'm dehydrated and I'm tired. This eye is, my fear with this eye is that as I get older, I'm going to start being like this. I can't open it. So I need to get that looked at as soon as possible. Yeah, I'm all over the place. Oh my God. All right, let's get back to it.
Slaves for NXIVM leader Keith Raniere.
The story of Allison Mack is a wild one indeed. She rose to fame in the 2000s playing Chloe Sullivan on Smallville. But aside from a brief stint on Wilfred and a few guest shots, Mack just sort of disappeared after the show ended in 2011. As it turns out, she had become involved in a New York cult called NXIVM and was quite a high-ranking member. Parts of her role involved trafficking women for founder Keith Raniere, engaging in various forms of corporal punishment, and physically branding recruits. It all ended in 2018 when Mack was arrested by the FBI in Brooklyn on charges of human trafficking and forced labor.
Is that supposed to be her? I could do this job. Oh my God. Do they still have court artists who do this stuff? I should apply for it. Holy crap.
She pled guilty to racketeering and served 21 months in prison.
Well, new this morning, according to a government website, the television actor Allison Mack has been released from a California prison.
Lilo Brancato.
Do you feel you got away with murder?
No, I don't feel that I've, got away with murder.
Sometimes the line between fiction and reality is rather blurry. Lilo Brancato appeared in The Sopranos, playing Christopher's underling, Matthew Bevilacqua. On December 10th, 2005,
before that, he actually starred in a movie basically playing a gangster too. But yeah, I remember this. It's like, what the hell, man? But yeah, a lot of these actors and stuff, I knew most of them. There were a few I didn't recognize or know about. So, but yeah, this one I do remember when it happened. It was just like, what the hell's going on? That's what I was saying earlier. You don't know what's going on. Even though you see them acting and stuff, doesn't mean they have any money. There could be stuff going on. They're trying to pay their bills and stuff. And like I said, you can be doing everything right with your money and still be in debt. So that could be what was going on with him.
Cotto and an accomplice named Stephen Armento broke into a house in the Bronx. Living next door was an off-duty police officer named Daniel Enchautegi, who heard glass breaking and confronted the men outside. A gunfight then ensued and Enchautegi was killed. The fatal shot was fired by Armento, so Brancato was found not guilty of second-degree murder. However, he was found guilty of attempted burglary and was given 10 years in prison. He served less than 5.
What was your reaction when you found out that you had been a part of a cop killing?
Jared Fogle.
Oh my God. Jared Fogle. When he first burst on the scene, people were already making fun. South Park does a skit on him talking about how he lost weight, talking about he had AIDS, and that's how he lost weight. And people are like, what, you had AIDS? And South Park does the whole thing, Jared Fogle has AIDS. And then it comes out, one of the kids is talking to him, wait, what do you mean by you have AIDS? He goes, yeah, I had people helping me. Like, oh my God. I was like, you had AIDS, okay. Not aid. You had, it was just horrible. And then when it broke about him and what he was doing, Subway had sent the thing out to remove anything with him on it. And there's a story where a guy was taking everything down and asked the manager, like, should we store this? And the manager like, no. No, just throw it away. Because usually what they do is they store it and then wait, but it was quickly unfolding to the point where it was like, nah, just get rid of it. Just get rid of it. There's no comeback. Just get rid of it. But again, like I said, people have made comebacks from this stuff. So I think with him, though, not a lot of people really liked him. At least I felt like people didn't like him. I always thought he was weird. So.
Who just announced he'd been eating a lot of Subways.
A different kind of television star, Jared Fogle was the main spokesperson for Subway between 2000 and 2015, appearing in over 300 commercials. And their working relationship probably would have gone longer had it not been for Subway between 2000 and 2015.
For some reason, I thought he said 2005. He said 2000, that's 15 years. Jesus. Yeah, I need to go to bed.
Commercials. And their working relationship probably would have gone longer had it not been for one devastating discovery. On July 7th, 2015, Fogle's Indiana home was raided by the FBI, who found him to be in possession of illegal material. He was arrested on charges of distribution and receipt and was quickly fired from Subway. Federal judge...
Distribution? I didn't remember that part. I knew you got caught with it. That's another thing. These people who collect this stuff share it. It's like, again, not encouraging it. Keep doing what you're doing to get caught. But my thing is, you're doing something really illegal. I mean, really illegal. And you're sharing it. I never understood that. It seems like a lot of them end up sharing it. It's like, oh, you like this stuff too? Let's switch, let's share. And it's like, really? I just never got it. They're sharing. And then a lot of them actually get caught when someone turns them in too, I've noticed. Because like the one from Glee, his ex-girlfriend ratting him out. I shouldn't say ratting him out. I watched too much, apparently I watched too much Sopranos, turned him in. It's better act. And actually, from what I understand, Jared got caught the same way, actually, because he had said some stuff around an assistant or something about, I want to say it was like he was looking at 12-year-old girls and he thought they were hot, and he said it out loud. And the assistant was just kind of like, huh? I think if I had been standing there, I would be like, Like, wait, the women or the kids? Like, could you say that again? That probably just walked away. I don't know what I would have done, to be honest with you.
Pratt claimed that the level of perversion and lawlessness exhibited by Mr. Fogel is extreme and sentenced him to nearly 16 years in prison. He is currently serving his sentence in FCI Inglewood and is eligible for parole in 2029.
I think he was also in solitary solitary confinement for a while because he was getting beat up or getting harassed and stuff. I was going to say something else. Yeah, well.
Made his fortune by being a relatable everyman, has become one of the most reviled men in America.
Will Hayden.
The star of Discovery's Sons of Guns,
him.
Will Hayden, has been taken into police custody in Louisiana.
After serving in the Marines, Will Hayden opened Red Jacket Firearms, a business that catered to custom weapons. This business attracted the attention of the Discovery Channel, and they produced a show called
Discovery Channel might want to do a more thorough background check because he's not the only one that's part of that whole Discovery family that got caught doing stuff. I wonder if they'll talk about him too. I'm pretty sure they're owned by the same people. We'll see here in a moment. I don't want to ruin it. If they don't cover him, then I'll bring him up.
Called Sons of Guns, which chronicled the daily goings-on inside Red Jacket Firearms. The show was on the air for 5 seasons until news broke in August 2014 that Hayden had been arrested for crimes related to minors. Sons of Guns was immediately canceled, and the story got even worse when Hayden's own daughter accused him of similar crimes against her. He was convicted of 2 counts of aggravated assault and is currently serving 3 life sentences inside Louisiana State Penitentiary.
Hayden is in custody and being held on a $250,000 bond. For more on the development,
I think how he got caught, he was messing with his girlfriend's daughter, and he got caught. But also, I want to say the daughter ended up getting arrested for something. Like, even though he got busted for that stuff, like there was some kind of fraud or something going on as well, and the daughter got busted. I don't know if she's still in prison or not, but because there was like a mug shot of her I remember seeing. Like, he got busted, then it came out that he was messing with her, but then she got busted for something. And that's what I said. I don't think she's still, if she got any time, maybe she testified against him. But, yeah, there was a whole mess with that. And I think there was more than just the child stuff, too. So, yeah, that guy just, I never got into that show. They just did not seem like people I wanted to be around. Let's just put it that way. Yeah, I never got into that show.
developing Will Hayden case, go to Fox for more.
I just realized her lips. What the hell is with your lips, lady? This like the Real Housewives when I was saying none of them looked attractive. They all had those lips. Like, I do not like those lips. And they don't look good. They don't. And I'm betting money hers are not natural either.
.com.
Danny Masterson.
He was admitted to North Kern State Prison.
Oh, that's what I was saying earlier about cults and religion and Scientology. He's a Scientologist. And they actually covered up his crimes for the longest.
A Los Angeles jury convicted him back in May.
That 70s show kickstarted a lot of careers, including that of Danny Masterson, who would later reunite with Ashton Kutcher on The Ranch. But not long after that show started, Masterson was hit with multiple accusations of assault and was both fired from The Ranch and dropped by the United Talent Agency. These accusations prompted an investigation by the LAPD, resulting in numerous charges of sexual assault. The years-long battle finally came to an end in 2023, when Masterson was convicted of 2 counts and
This is what I'm talking about. I could be a court artist. I could draw like this. This would be easy. And this picture here, what the hell is going on? I should see if I can get a job doing this.
given 30 years to life in prison.
A Los Angeles judge has sentenced one of the stars of That 70s Show, Danny Masterson, to 30 years to life in prison.
Josh Duggar.
Yeah, that's the other one I was talking about. TLC, I think Discovery owns TLC, if I remember correctly.
Honor and privilege to join in this announcement of a guilty verdict in the case of United States versus Josh Duggar.
19 Kids and Counting was a show that aired on TLC between 2008.
Ugh. Yeah, he also got accused by his siblings of doing stuff to them. And basically the parents looked the other way. In my opinion, they looked the other way. I guess they tried to pray it away. It didn't work. It sounds like he needed actual counseling and needed help, and he didn't get it.
In 2015, it followed the Duggar family, which consisted of parents Michelle and Jim Bob and their 19 children. The eldest was Josh Duggar, who was already an adult by the time the show started. Unfortunately, accusations of sexual assault have followed Duggar throughout much of his adult life, and they directly led to the cancellation of 19 Kids and Counting. Justice finally came for Duggar in 2021, when he was arrested by U.S. Marshals for receiving and owning illegal material related to minors. He was found guilty of possession and given 12 years in prison, a sentence that was welcomed and supported by multiple family members.
The Dillards summed it all up by expressing, quote, "This trial has felt more like a funeral than anything else."
Stephen.
Yeah, his sisters were happy that he got busted finally. And if I remember correctly, a lot of his sisters left the family. Like they're not part of the Mormon faith anymore. They left. And I've noticed a lot of females leave more than males, I think, leave that faith, especially if you're deeply rooted in the cult side of it. They get out of it and they realize, whoa, this is messed up, and they leave it. So yeah.
Did you feel at times that you were leading a double life in any way?
No. After many years of acting, Stephen Collins became a household name in 1996, having landed the role of Eric Camden on Seventh Heaven. Eric is a Protestant minister, which is deeply ironic considering Collins's immoral crimes. In 2014, TMZ leaked audio from a counseling session that Collins was attending, in which he admitted to misconduct with underage girls. The leak was devastating to Collins's career, and he was fired from numerous projects.
If I remember correctly, the story was his wife leaked it, but his shrink somehow was involved in that as well. So I mean, technically, he could sue the shrink and sue his wife, but he never went down that path. But when it broke, it was that the way I understood it and what I heard is that he thought about doing stuff, but he never acted on it. Then later it comes out that that wasn't the case, that he did act on it and he had done stuff, and it started when he was much younger, actually. So you hear one side, but when I heard the other side, it was like years later. I didn't know he had done interviews and all that stuff. When I finally heard the other side, it was just like, oh, you actually acted on it. Okay, so that explains a lot more.
Collins admitted his transgressions to the media, claiming that he had committed 3 instances of misconduct in his distant past. But as the claims are unsubstantiated, Collins has faced no legal recourse for his actions.
The first incident was in 1973. You were 25 years old. How old was the victim?
Michael Jace.
Michael Jace was found guilty today of second-degree murder.
Yeah, that first guy was not Michael Jace, in case you're wondering.
Death of his wife, April. He shot and killed her in May of 2014.
This actor was lucky enough to be on The Shield.
That's Michael Jace. That was a weird way to start it. They should have started on his face. Instead, they started on the other black guy's face.
Which is considered one of the best shows ever made. He played Julian Lowe, one of the few decent police officers in a show full of corrupt ones. And like Stephen Collins, this clash between character and reality is deeply ironic. In May of 2014, Jace murdered his wife April in Los Angeles and proceeded to call the cops on himself, bluntly telling them, "I shot my wife." According to investigators, Jace shot her once in the back and twice in both legs, which was considered a symbolic gesture as April was a professional runner. He was given 40 years to life in prison.
It's really hard to come up with words for it when you've done what you've done and have to deal with the consequences. But
yeah, I believe they're actually going through a divorce, and just, I'm not excusing his actions. He clearly had some issues, but in his head, he's like, "You're not leaving me, and I'll end you." To me, I guess I'm just more level-headed in the sense that if it's over, it's over. Move on. If my wife ever came to me and said she wants a divorce, I'd be sad, but I'd be like, if this is what you really want, I'm not going to fight you. And then I see those things where they say, he didn't fight for me. He said, you wanted a divorce and he respected what you wanted. So that basically be me. I'd give you the divorce and be like, I'm moving on. I'm not going to waste my time chasing after someone who doesn't want me. So that's how I look at it.
he understands second degree.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, found guilty. The actor and comedian, once known as America's Dad, found guilty on all charges today.
There are few downfalls bigger than that.
Yeah, when this whole thing came out about Bill Cosby, like, whoa. And he had the joke about the Spanish fly. And it's like, oh, wait a minute. You're talking about drugging women. When you go back and listen. When I first heard that joke, that's what I thought. And then everyone's laughing. I'm like, oh, maybe I'm overthinking it. And then now, with everything that happened, like, oh, I was right. One of the things I actually hate about the Bill Cosby story, there's two things. One is that a comedian gets credit for outing Bill Cosby. That comedian should not get credit. It turns out women have been trying to come forward for years, trying to out him. And no one listened. But a man came forward and it was like, oh, well, we better listen. Literally, that's what a lot of those women actually felt like. It's like, you didn't listen to us. But a man says something and suddenly you listen. And the other thing I don't like is there was a deal in place to where he could testify in a civil court and the prosecutor wouldn't go after him. Because I think the original prosecutor didn't go after him because they didn't think they had a case. And then he testified in the civil court case, and the new prosecutor threw the deal out and went after him. And when that was revealed, that's how he got out of prison. That second prosecutor screwed up big time. I understand trying to make a name for yourself, but that prosecutor did not make the name they were thinking they were going to make. But yeah, it was the whole situation with Bill Cosby was just sad. Because I really liked Bill Cosby. He was one of the few black men who was out there, looked like he was doing positive stuff, and turns out he was doing some stuff behind the scenes. Yeah. So hopefully no one ever sees me as a positive light, because I'm no angel either. Not to the extreme of Bill Cosby, but, you know, I'm no angel. I've never done anything like that, but yeah. Oh, man, it was just sad, you know, all the way around. You know, it's like, oh, I'd love to meet Bill Cosby. It's like, nah, never mind.
Of Bill Cosby. Once considered America's dad, Cosby is now a social
Oh, by the way, it turns out this has been going on since the 60s, you know, since he was famous. He's been doing this for a long time. And his wife, Camilla, I guess, just looked the other way. So.
Yeah, and his legacy in Hollywood has been permanently tarnished. It all relates to dozens of indecent assault allegations that date back to 1965. Decades worth of accusations were completely...
This woman here, she was actually on the show. And he assaulted a couple women who were actually on the show. And he would talk to them afterwards and then assault them. So yes, so that's one of his victims. She was actually an actress on the show. I believe she played Theo's teacher. So it was like, dude, it's like, what the hell, man? And he was just untouchable at the time.
But we can thank comedian Hannibal Buress for bringing justice to the countless women. In October 2014, Buress made a joke about Cosby's sketchy past, leading more than a dozen victims to come forth. Cosby was eventually found guilty of 3 counts of aggravated indecent assault and was given 3 to 10 years in prison. He spent less than 3 years inside before his conviction was overturned owing to a legal technicality.
He was released after an appellate court ruled that he'd been prosecuted in violation of an earlier agreement made between the district attorney's office and the disgraced comic.
Each day.
The Bill Cosby thing, yeah, that's what I was talking about. They had a deal in place and the second prosecutor threw it out. This is the guy I was talking about. I could have sworn he got convicted of something. I'm going to have to, now this one I may have to go look up. I don't know if I'll post anything about it, add on to this. But I could have sworn he got something before he died. But yeah, all that stuff came out and a bunch of people got taken down. And then there's another guy who, he got released from prison and went right back to doing what he was doing. It's like, just keep that guy in prison, man.
New shocking allegations, the latest suggesting he used his charity work to gain access to the young and the vulnerable.
Tragically, sometimes justice is not brought. Such is the case with Jimmy Savile, the host of Top of the Pops and Jim Will Fix It. Savile died in 2011 as a British legend and a night bachelor, having received the honor all the way back in 1990. But his legacy was brought into question just 1 year later, when an ITV documentary examined claims of indecent abuse against Savile. Similar accusations had been made during Savile's lifetime, but they were widely ignored. But this documentary prompted a new investigation from Scotland Yard, who found Savile to be one of Britain's most prolific assault offenders. He had reportedly assaulted hundreds of people throughout his lifetime, and he got away with it all.
We've received over...
As I said, people. It wasn't just men and women and children. It was anybody, sounds like. Jeez.
400 lines of information from the public. We are investigating major crime here.
Who are some other...
Yeah, so basically everyone looked the other way while he did it. Unfortunately, there's a lot of people like that still in the world today where people just look the other way. It's sad, but it does happen, and sometimes they never get caught. But yeah, I thought this would be an interesting one, and majority of these people I did recognize and knew their crimes, and I learned a few new things about the crime. But yeah, that last one, I could have sworn they got him though, or they were getting ready to prosecute him before he died. It was something I could have sworn, but oh well. All right, don't forget to like, subscribe, and everyone take care. Later.